What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. What doesn't kill you makes a fighter. Footsteps even lighter. Doesn't mean I'm over, 'cause you're gone. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Hey everyone, Emilie Deangelo here, host of the Balancing Act of Life with Marvelous TLB TV, and I'm also known as the PH Healthy Gal. And Balancing Act of Life, I named it because exactly, learning how to balance every aspect in your life. So what I try to do is bring on different topics that are important on our lives, but sometimes we just kind of put them on the back burner because either we don't want to face them or we got so much going on that we're not balancing ourselves correctly. Today, I'm going to have a guest on, Joe Stewart. He'll be on in a couple minutes. I wanted to talk to you guys first. He'll be on, and it's all about financing and more, not financing as much as your credit. Joe has a background in mortgages for many years. He's also a real estate investor, but he also has been working very closely for many years with credit, and he's extended into it even further, more so commercial these days. But he still has a lot of different, regular clients like you and I. And the importance of credit is just, as it is all the time, it's very important. Although nowadays you see, places for cars and I guess like appliances and things like that with their extended credit to people with bad credit. However, that's great when you're stuck, but the money that you pay in interest when you have bad credit is phenomenal. So somebody could be making a car payment on, a 10-year-old car that's like a new car, and the value of it, really, you're just paying so much in interest, you're losing so much money. And getting your credit scores better saves you tons of money. It could take you from a $600 payment to a $400 payment. And it does so many other things for you. People, I can't stress enough, financing and budgeting and money is so important in our life and in any economy today. And I know our economy's, it's getting better, but it's not at its best yet. And we really have to take responsibility in this other large aspect of our lives and face it. We need to do budgets. We need to maybe just not budgeting, it's saving better, investing, and any credit cards. And, and again, it circles back to having good credit, because when you have really, decent credit, you get better pricing, you get save money, and it's really a cycle. So, like I said, in the Balancing Act of Life, we try to bring all kinds of different things. My main thing has always been food, health, nutrition, taking care of your body, your mind, body, soul. However, this is so important. How can you have your asset level low if your mind's like racing about money or what you're going to do and everything? And then we're coming up on the season of spending. When we get out there, we get emotional. This one's going to love this and that. And then the week following, we're going, oh my God, what did we do? We get the credit card bill, comes in a month later. So Balancing Act of Life, I try to bring you different aspects. And again, financing is huge, absolutely huge in our lives. So Joe is basically going to tell us a little bit about credit repair, and the different things that you find on your credit or might not understand. And then you can also refer to him. He's going to give us an email. You'll be able to refer to him with maybe some questions, but he has different requirements before he speaks to you, because a lot of people just want to call and tell him all their stories. And unfortunately, that doesn't help him help you. So he'll express that once he signs in. And he'll let you know the process. And it's nothing to be scared of. Most people just don't want to face this and just let it keep going and going. And a lot of people haven't even pulled their credit to see what's on there, because there's things on there. There's inquiries. There's things that are not even right. They have other people's charge cards or accounts on your credit, which could be messing it up, not just because of a score of payments, but also because of you being over your limits. And people are really not up to date on what the credit companies look at anymore. I didn't know until up to a couple of years ago that credit is now balanced or looked at, that you say you have $100,000 worth of credit. Just because you have that, if you used 50 of it, they frown upon that. They really don't want you using over, I think, 30%. And then the other side of that too is you don't want to have $100,000 in credit or 10 or whatever it is and not be using it. There's a balance there, and hopefully I remember to bring that up to Joe, because it's an important thing to know the rule of thumb of that, to know what the banks are thinking. It's all a psychological thing that you got to have in your head and balance and know your spending. And just because you get that credit card with the $10,000 limit, hey, we're not going to Sizzler and all this other stuff. We have to manage a balance. So there's a couple important things that I'm going to go over with Joe and see what you think about it, see how you can relate to it. And I'm always here for you to email me if you want to email me first and ask a couple general questions, or like I said, Joe's going to supply us with an email, so he'll be able to help you with certain things. So I expect him to get on any second now, so just hold our horses and he'll be right here. One other thing I want to mention before Joe comes on. I have an account with creditkarma.com, and they let you have a free account, and they have 2 of the major reporting agencies in there. And periodically I'll go in, I check, they'll send an email if you sign up for it, an alert if something's changed on your account too. So that's something you might really want to look into. I don't get paid money from them or anything. So again, creditkarma.com. I think you can set your settings. Just take a look through it. But again, 2 of the major important credit reporting agencies, and you can really see a lot on there. Gives you a whole synopsis, whole different tabs that if you're looking for about your credit, your accounts, good, bad, and different. I think public recordings as well. So it might be something you definitely want to check into, just to kind of get your feet wet. And then I think you can actually pull it for maybe $10. Again, don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. So take a look at that. It's what I use. If there's other ones that you like, you prefer, go and use them. But just get your feet wet and start familiarizing yourself with your credit. And then hopefully with Joe, that'll give you more idea of what's going on in this industry. Okay, be right back. And I'm back, and I'm here with Joe Stewart. Unfortunately, his video is not working that well. So we have a little telephone there with new Face Credit, Joe Stewart, and he's on the line. Joe wanted me to, again, remind you, as I had said earlier, that he will give us an email. You'll see that listed on the episode, introduction to the episode. It'll give you Joe's email information, Joe's background, different things that he can offer you, and kind of just little instructions. Because again, unless you send Joe your credit report, there's no other reason to, be talking or just asking him all kinds of questions. So Joe, why don't you, and also he's going to give us a link, and a link is something that he uses all the time. You can cancel it at any time. It's to pull your credit, to monitor your credit. He seems to like it a lot. I know I had said I use Credit Karma, but he's the expert here. So his suggestions, again, nothing's in stone here. You do whatever you want, but these are his suggestions. He's the expert. So Joe, go ahead, open up with a little bit, tell them a little bit. I'm trying to get people to understand the importance of credit and the scores that they have, where it can take them from a $600 payment to a $400 payment, and really how important is watching your money. I have a couple questions, actually, I said I was going to ask, but why don't you kind of just start off with an introductory?
All right. Thanks, Em, for that wonderful intro. I don't consider myself an expert. I just consider myself a knowledgeable person when it comes to credit, even though I got 30 years of mortgage and credit background. Basically, what we do and have been doing since 2008, is helping people that have had credit issues in the past for whatever reason. Doesn't matter the reason, but we help them get back on track. And what I mean by back on track, I mean back to hopefully where they started before any kind of issues arose and their credit went down the tubes. It doesn't matter if it's a divorce, a bankruptcy, you know, you took all your money, went to Vegas for the weekend, blew it all, and you wrecked your credit. Doesn't really matter to me. I've heard every story there is. If you want to hear stories, I'll tell you mine, and I'm sure I'll bore you to death after a while, but everybody's got a story. But the issue is, what do you have going on in the present and the future? Not so much what happened in the past. The credit report will tell me everything I need to know. Just like you were saying in the intro, the easiest way for me to help somebody if they want help would be for me to look at your credit report. All three bureaus. Don't send me Credit Karma. Don't send me credit.com or any of these other places. They're great for kind of keeping a tab on your credit, but they don't give me the full information that I need. Number one, three bureaus, because it doesn't do you any good to fix one bureau and not fix all three. You don't know
that's
who.
what I had said Credit Karma does. I said it's only two bureaus. It worked for me, but I'm glad you brought that up because I'm giving people what I do, but you've also pulled my credit, or I've also pulled my credit from other places, which I couldn't remember, but I use Credit Karma just to kind of look and monitor. But these other places, like Joe said, you need all three to really get yourself repaired. So thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to pull your credit. The link that I give, I use because it's very concise, very easy to read for me. It may not be for everybody, but for me, it's very easy to read. I see every credit report from Privacy Guard to credit.com to Credit Check Total, Equifax.com. It doesn't matter where you get it, as long as there's three bureaus, so you can get a full picture of what your credit looks like. Because one bureau, you could be a 700 score, and the other bureau, you could be a 500 score. It depends on who you went for credit and who they report to. Not every creditor out there reports to all three bureaus, and not all, if you're in a bad situation, not all collection agencies report to all three bureaus. So you might have a collection agency, and it tends to be geographical a lot of times, depending on where you are in the country. You may find that Equifax is used more in the South, Experian is used more in the North, TransUnion is used more in the West. It's all over the place. But at the end of the day, it depends on who they want to report to or who they can afford to report to.
Okay.
Each one's different for the creditors. So
factors I wasn't even aware of. So, yeah, I don't want to
there's a
misdirect
million
people.
factors.
Thank God you're pointing that out too.
Yeah. So like I said, and don't be afraid to pull your credit on almost any of these ones. I know inquiries are a problem for a lot of people. That's one of the things we handle.
Stop there for a second, because a lot of people don't understand the inquiries, and you have a service, and I know it's not the inquiries aren't huge, but explain a little bit about the inquiries and the service that you provide, because they are a factor. They really are. They're, and maybe it's not a huge factor, but it really is. It could take you from one level to another. And just go on that a little bit, because I think that's a great service.
Okay. Well, for those of you that don't know, I'll start from the beginning. An inquiry on your credit is somebody that you have either authorized or sometimes not authorized to run your credit. They have taken a peek at you, whether they take a peek on all three bureaus, one bureau, that's up to them. That's how they do their business. Like I could tell you, typically a Capital One will look at all three bureaus, whereas Chase Citibank may only look at one bureau. Discover looks at one bureau. No, two bureaus, I'm sorry. But nonetheless, I don't want to get off on that. But what happens when somebody runs your credit, in most instances, that's called a hard inquiry pull. When somebody pulls your credit, that will be put down on the credit report. You will see if you go through any credit report, the inquiries. Some credit reports report the last 30 days, last 60 days, last 90, or in most cases, the last 2 years, because that's how long an inquiry will stay on your credit report if it's pulled, and it's a hard inquiry. A hard inquiry is an inquiry pulled by a creditor. It could be, like I said, Capital One, Chase, all the big ones. Could be a mortgage company that pulls your credit. Could be a car company. One of the worst places you can go to run up inquiries is a car dealer. They will run your credit. 8 or 9 banks, and they all run it. So if anybody's ever bought a car, they'll see that they may have had no inquiries, and all of a sudden they got 15. And they all will deduct. Now the credit bureaus tell us now, and there's no way for outsiders like us to know 100%. They say they will lump, if somebody goes car shopping, they will lump them all together into one. I don't believe that. They may do that for a few of them, but not for all of them, because a lot of times what happens with people when they go car shopping is they will try to run you through a bank, what they consider, a car dealer would consider a bank, like a Chase or somebody like that. As they get no approval or denials, they start going to the bottom feeders. They want to go to the middle of the road, then they go to the bottom feeders. And I won't list their names because they probably wouldn't like me calling them a bottom feeder, but they basically are going to charge you 15 to 21% on your car loan, whereas the other banks would have given you 3 or 4, but for whatever reason, because of credit or income or both, they wind up being the ones that take you. If you get to that level, your credit probably has been run 8 or 9 times. So if they don't put them together, which I don't believe they do most of the time, that's basically one inquiry, hard inquiry, can cost you anywhere from 1 to 3 points. So you can do the math, and that's per bureau. So, if they're running all 3 bureaus, you can run up a lot of inquiries and a lot of deduction in your point. We just did a client, and he set the record. He had 89 inquiries on Experian alone. He had a total of almost. Yeah, he knew. Okay. He's one of them people that believe that the next guy that runs his credit is going to love him. Unfortunately, that's not the case. If you've been denied credit over and over, you need to do something about your credit, not just have it pulled again. Credit does get a little bit better each month the further away from the last delinquency or problem, but it doesn't get better overnight. And by you pulling your credit 15 times a month and just racking up these inquiries, you're doing yourself a disservice completely. You're not helping your credit. You're harming it. Either contact somebody or try taking care of your credit on your own. Take a look at what's on there. But the only way to do that is to actually see your credit, and the only way to see your credit correctly is to run it on a real service, not Credit Karma, not Credit.com. They don't give credit. They don't give credit your account numbers. They barely give dates. And in order to dispute, you need to have all the information to dispute correctly. Anybody that disputes credit will tell you that anybody can do that themselves. Now we have tricks of the trade, and we know what we're doing and how to hit them. And I'm not going to give them away because I'd be out of a job. But if you do your own homework, you could probably do it yourself in many cases. But for for this show and everything, I'm going to tell you what we can do. And the number one thing is, I think I got into the inquiries and didn't finish my one thought. You can run your own credit report as many times as you want. That is called a soft pull. A soft pull will not show up on your credit report. So don't be afraid to pull your own credit, but you have to pull it through. You can't go to, hey, the mortgage guy down the street that's your buddy and say, hey, run my credit. That's not a soft pull. That's a hard pull. You need to go to one of these services, and I'm not recommending any of them except the one that I gave the link for. The one that I gave the link for is $16.95 a month. That's the cheapest one that I found. You'll find ones that are, $1 for the first month, but then it can go anywhere from $20 to $30. Some of them, like Equifax.com, I'll blow them out of the water right now. They're like $17.95 a month, but then when you want a 3-bureau report, you got to pay another additional $29.95, which is really unfair because most of the other ones will charge you one fee, which, like the one that I gave the link to, is $16.95, and once a month you get a free, so-called free 3-bureau report. So once a month you can pull your credit and see what's happening. Something go up, something go down. In today's world with identity theft, which is a major thing that we deal with all the time now, it's good to run your credit.
I had a problem. You had to help me with mine. That's a lot. I can really mess you up for a long time. Well, tell people about
it'll beat you up, and if you don't know about it, it'll just stay there. What's that? I'm sorry.
Right. If you don't pull something, that's what I had said in my introduction.
If you don't pull it, you don't know it.
You don't know
it until, unless you start getting letters from creditors or from lawyers or from somebody saying, hey, you owe us X amount of money. And you're like, I've never heard of this bank in my life. Pull your credit report. And you will probably see that somebody somehow got your information and ran your credit, found out you were good, and immediately did what they do, which is amazing what they do, but they can do it in seconds. They can take everything that they can pull. They get your information. They will use it to get credit in a different address. The credit card will come to that address, or the check will come to that address, and they will be gone. It'll probably be a foreclosed home that they wait by the mailbox for the mailman to drop it off, and they're gone. I've seen it happen to, we probably handled 5,000 or more legitimate identity theft cases in the last year and a half. It grows every day. And you can see by just watch the news, how many, when Target and all these other companies come out and they say somebody hacked into their system. Well, they're hacking into that system for a reason, and that's to get all your information. And I'm not doing this to scare you, but you need to be proactive as opposed to reactive.
You're absolutely
reactive,
right.
It could take you months, years to get your credit back. I know I've had people call me and say, in fact, a nice lady called me from Brigantine, New Jersey, and she had went to just purchase a car. She had purchased numerous cars in her lifetime. Went to the car dealer that she always bought from, and they told her, no, can't help you out. She couldn't believe it. I mean, she had impeccable credit her entire life, very wealthy woman. Found out somebody, I won't say who because it wound up being somebody close to her, they did it that way. There's somebody she knew stole it. But in most cases, it's somebody that don't know you and doesn't care about you, and it just will take your information and run and get as much credit as possible in your name, in their hands. They will run it up and they will burn it down. And that's something we call burning it down. They could get that credit and keep that credit, and maybe you'd never know. And if they paid it on time, and you might never know, and it might even help your credit in some cases. But in most cases, they are going to run that credit up. If it's a $10,000 line, they're going to get $10,000 off that line, and then they are not going to make another payment.
And you might never know.
It'll be a charge-off.
That's important.
And you'll never know until you go buy a house, go buy a car, go apply for a credit card, whatever the case, and you'll be like, what? and you won't have any clue as to what happened. So it's good to be proactive. I don't like spending money more than anybody else. But in some instances, as long as you keep an eye on what's going on, and you can do that. You can do that with the
I
Credit
got to
Karma.
laugh because what you're saying right now reminds me of like preventative medicine. I'm always telling people, you know, you want to prevent, but here you are saying the same thing. You got to prevent this.
Yeah, it's the same thing with health as it is with your finances. If you just think that you can do whatever, eat whatever, not exercise, whatever, and you're going to be a healthy person, as age comes on, you're going to have problems. And the same thing with your credit or any other kind of financial matter. If you don't stay on top of your game and your business, nobody else will. So you need to be your own policeman. You need to take care of your own business and watch your credit. Are perfect for that. If you don't need to dispute anything, Credit Karma, credit.com. Credit Karma is probably the best out of them. You can see two credit bureaus, and at least by seeing two, you got a pretty good idea what's going on. If you see something funny, you see inquiries on there that you did not pull, that's when you need to start looking into things and then asking questions. Contact them. You know, when did I supposedly pull this credit? And I want to see documentation that I authorized you to pull this credit.
Yeah, that's very important. Joe, I'm going to wind you back in for a minute because we got 5 minutes. I really wanted you to go back with the inquiries and tell people about that service that you have, because I really think it's important for people once they get on control on things, but also maybe if they're just at that borderline where they can boost their credit to get themselves into a better situation. Tell them a little bit about, you know, what you do with just, you know, the hard inquiries and the cost and that.
All right. Well, what we do, we offer a service, we call it Inquiries Be Gone, and that is the email address, Inquiries Be Gone. I think Emily will put it up for you. It's Inquiry by Be Gone. I keep going in plural, but it is Inquiry Be Gone.
Okay.
At gmail.com. What we do is we will remove all eligible inquiries. And what I mean by eligible, if you have an inquiry on your credit report that you don't have a corresponding account with, say if there's a Discover inquiry on your credit report and you did not get an account with Discover, I can remove that. And that goes with anything else. Now, if you have the Discover card and they ran your credit to give you that card, that's not coming off. That's a legitimate inquiry. That's staying for 2 years. You got to deal with it. Any others, if the car dealers that we talked about, they ran you 10 times and you settled with Chrysler Credit or whoever, that's the one that stays. The rest of them I can get rid of. If you applied for 1 million credit cards and you only got one, I can get rid of the rest of them. A mortgage credit report, typically I can't get rid of. Sometimes I can. I will try for you. If you're ever disputing your own inquiries, please do not go after ones that you do have accounts with, even if it's like, they gave me credit in 1995, but they ran my credit last week. Well, you might have asked for an increase in your balance. They run your credit. You say that you fight that, they can cancel your card. I've seen it happen to many people. If you fight the wrong ones, you will have your credit shut down because you just said, hey, I didn't authorize that. Boom, they shut you down. You're done. And sometimes it's hard to get credit back. So be careful. You should use somebody that knows what they're doing. We do. We will only go after the ones that are legitimate, that you can get rid of. We charge a fee of $200. That may sound like a lot to some people, but if you go anywhere and check it, people are charging $50 per inquiry. Go on Craigslist or any of these other places where they advertise these services. It's usually $50 per inquiry. We do $200, all 3 bureaus, Like I said, we just did somebody that had almost 145 inquiries, and they were ones we could remove. His score actually went up over 100 and some points from just inquiries alone. And now he liked us so much, we're doing his credit for him. So, yeah, it's a very unique service. As far as we know, we're the only ones doing it for all three bureaus, and for that price. What I will do is, if you email me your credit report, I will look at it for free, and I will tell you exactly what I can or can't do. I'll tell you, this is the ones we're going after. And the ones that I go after, we get rid of.
That's great.
Definitely 95% of everything we go after. Also, if you have just credit problems, we don't do as much of that. We still do it, but we do it more on a wholesale level for other credit companies. But because of my relationship with Emilie, and for her listeners to this show, I will look at anybody's credit report for free. I need to see all three bureaus, as I said, and I will tell you what I can do for your credit. Anything can be fixed. Believe me, I've done it all for not only for other people, but I've done it for myself. Everybody went through hard times when the mortgage crisis hit and the foreclosures and property values dropped. I know numerous people, anywhere from lower income people to super high income, that lost property because of value of the house, and we had to remove them. Bankruptcies can be removed in many instances. All judgments, tax liens, they can be removed, and all charge-offs, collections, almost any negative thing, typically within reason, we can get rid of. And we give you a fair price and a one-time price. We don't charge about a month and then we'll drag you on for 3 years. We give you a one-time price and we stick to it.
So what I'm hearing here, basically, contact Joe with your full credit report as he's suggesting. Don't just email him questions. He's not going to accept that. You'll start off, he'll evaluate it. He'll give you that evaluation. You can start off with, the inquiries that he's talking about cleaning up there. But definitely this is a baby step kind of thing, but you have to take the first step and pull that full report and get it over to him, and he'll give you a whole synopsis of this is where I would start and this is what I would do. And like he said, a lot of it he might just tell you to go do yourself. This is what you do. This is how you do it. Get it done. Then you'll see over time, because again, it's baby steps, but it's over time. There's nothing overnight here. But he's helped a lot of my friends. I've sent people to him. He helped me. He's helped a lot, but it's not overnight, guys. It's not an instant fix. He's not here and it's criminal activity here that we're just going to erase stuff and hope to God it stays off. It's nothing like that. This is an education. This is a step-by-step process. This is the real deal. I got it right, Joe?
Sounded good to me.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to wrap this up. We're probably going to have Joe on another time again after this to go a little bit more deeper into what else he might be able to do with the credit, but also he does a lot of commercial things now. So, it might not appeal to every viewer, but there could be a couple viewers out there that might benefit by his commercial services that he does as well. So look for us again. We'll be doing the credit too with new Face Credit, Joe Stewart. Take a look at the link he sent you to pull your credit. Also, again, you can email him with your credit report so he can help you out with that, because as he said, the TLB Balancing Active Life viewers are going to get that. So that's huge. That's important, and it's of a value. So, Joe, I'm going to wrap this up. I thank you so much. We look forward to talking to you again, and thanks for everything you've given our viewers. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay, take it easy.
Appreciate
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.